Hello, how are you today? So I've come here again with some important information still on the listening test. You would agree with me that a number of factors play out during your listening test. And of course, these factors affect your ability and chances of hearing what the audio says. Now listen, let me take you through certain factors that often affect non-native English speakers' performances during the listening test. So let's look at number one, the pronunciation pattern of the native speakers. Number two, their speaking pace. Number three, their enunciation. Number four, accent. Number five, voice modulation. Now let's begin with the pronunciation pattern. When you are taking on the listening test, you may observe that certain words are pronounced in ways that you tend to mistake them for another. You would hear a word or you would hear a thing from the audio during your listening test practice, and you end up writing something absolutely different from what is being pronounced by the audio. This is very peculiar when the audio is coming through a female. Of course, when a female is given or is being used in an audio, you may have quite a number of challenges with the pronunciation. Basically, or mostly, females make use of nasal pronunciations. So their words are being pronounced coming more often through the nose, nasal sounds. So it poses some level of difficulty for certain non-native English speakers to actually factor or get the accurate word that is being pronounced. So what is the way out? You need to do a lot of practices. You need to practice so much to get used to female voice as well as male pronunciations so that you are able to get familiar with them. And of course, during your listening test, it won't be strange to you. Second, let's look at their speaking pace. Now, during the speaking pace or during your listening test, you may observe that native English speakers are fast talkers. They speak pretty fast. And because it is not our thing, it's not in the nature of non-native speakers, you tend to find it difficult to catch up or to meet up with their pace. So while you are busy trying to factor where the audio is treating at a point in time, you realize that it's way past that level. And of course, you have missed the answer. So you want to really engage in a lot of practices to be able to get used to their speaking pace, how fast they speak, so that you are able to actually catch up on the day of your test. Because when you are not on the same page, of course, you wouldn't be able to catch when the audio is giving the answer, because you would be slow with your follow-up, whereas the audio is way fast ahead of you. Right? Now, let's also look at enunciation. In most cases, during your listening test, you would realize that the listening test audio or the speaker in the listening test makes use of certain words, vocabularies, terminologies that are actually in line with the issue of discourse or issue being discussed. Now, what this does for you is you will not be able to factor the actual word, the words being pronounced, because you're not used to such. So you want to build your vocabularies so you are able to really catch the exact words being pronounced, the exact terminologies being used during your listening test. Because when a word is given or said by the audio, whether it's a male voice or a female voice, if you are not familiar with such words, you won't be able to actually spell. Because in listening test, you will do majority of the spellings yourself. It's just in rare cases that spellings are being given to you. And this is mostly when the word being pronounced is not an English or a popular English word. And you find this when your answer is supposed to be name of a person or name of a place or name of a thing. So it will be spelled. But outside this scenario, you do all the spellings yourself. So when you are not well furnished, when you are not well loaded with vocabularies, it will be difficult and quite challenging for you to spell the actual word being pronounced. Another thing is the accent. It is a natural phenomenon for the native English speakers to bring in accents. And their accents flow naturally in consonance with whatever they say. Now, because it is not your native language, you tend to have a little bit of challenge with their accent. So what do? Listen to podcasts. Listen to English podcasts. Listen to documentaries done in native English accents. Watch native English movies or contents, the ones without subtitles. Because when you are watching a movie that has subtitles, most times non-native English speakers end up reading what is written, so they're able to follow whatever that's been said. Also, you need to listen to the native English speakers' news houses, medias. For instance, the BBC, the CNN, listen to their news broadcasts. This will help you to also get in tune with their accents. And when you're watching some of these contents, you might just want to close your eyes and listen. See if you're able to hear and understand everything that's been said. With this, you are somewhat prepared for your listening test. Then we have what we call voice modulation. Voice modulation works hand in glove with accents. Voice modulation is basically about the rising and falling of the tone while speaking. This is very peculiar with the native English speakers. So how you come out of this and master this skill is constant and consistent practices. This will help you to actually improve in this aspect. And of course, on the day of your listening test, it would be a walkover for you. And very importantly, and this is the primary reason most test takers tend to miss their answers or get lost at some point where the audio or when the audio is playing. Now, this is a major factor that over 80% of non-native English speakers, IELTS test takers experience. This is called paraphrase. When you read your questions before the audio begins to play, naturally, most test takers configure their minds to the fact that IELTS audio would read or express the content using the exact words that they have read. This is a primary factor that makes a lot of test takers to miss answers. The audio may never use the exact words you have read. Audio will always paraphrase the keywords in each question using synonyms. So when you are not in tune with synonyms, it becomes difficult for you to catch when an audio has read a question, because you are busy expecting the same words that you have read to be used by the audio. If the audio does that, then it will not be easy. It will be, the whole essence will be defeated. The essence of getting the smart people, the essence of getting the intelligent ones, the essence of getting the right candidates who have in-depth understanding and good command of the language. So what proves your in-depth understanding and good command of the language is your ability to catch when a word has been substituted with its synonym, right? So please, synonym plays out during your listening test. Paraphrasing plays out during your listening test. You need to brace yourself with a vast bank of vocabularies. Prepare yourself. And when an audio tells you, first, you have some time to read questions 1 to 5. When an audio says something like this is basically because the audio has been programmed to substitute most of the keywords you have read with their synonyms. So do not expect the audio to give you those words or read those questions using the same words you have seen and read. So be open-minded. Read the questions as the audio has advised you, and prepare your minds for the substitutes or possible alternative ways that the audio may paraphrase the same information. Because when you are unable to follow, when you are unable to catch when paraphrasing has played out, it will be difficult for you to know when the answer is being given. So while you are still waiting to hear the words, the audio has treated number 1 using synonyms, and the answer has been given. You are not aware. You are still waiting. Audio goes to the second question, says the answer. You are still waiting for number 1. Audio goes to the third question, paraphrasing the information. You are still waiting for number 1. And then all of a sudden you get to hear, that is the end of section 1. You may now transfer your answers. Sorry, this is real. This is real. So you don't have to get stuck. You don't have to be taken unawares. You want to build vocabularies. You want to read questions before the audio begins to play. You want to prepare your mind for the possible ways the audio may substitute the keywords using their synonyms. This is a primary reason people fail their IELTS listening test. So I advise you, brace yourself with the right vocabularies, get set for it, and be prepared. With that, you are sure to ace your IELTS listening test with ease. See you in the next video. Bye for now.